What's going on, noobs? I am the Perpetual Noob, and welcome back to another Hollow Knight Silksong first win boss video guide thing. Today, we're talking about the 13th... you know what? I'm going to stop counting. I don't remember what number this is. We're going to just talk about the next boss that I defeated in my first playthrough of Hollow Knight Silksong. The Great Conch Flies. We find the Great Conch Flies in the Blasted Sands. And thankfully, their arena is very obviously a boss arena. So much so that when I first approached it, I noped right the heck away because I saw it and went, I do not have the energy for this. Nope. Turned right back around. I was like, I'm not doing that. Instantly. But that was a little presumptive because, got in there and took them on. And finally said, okay, well, I know this is boss arena, so let's just go do this. Okay, here we go. And when I got in there the first time, I saw them do their little spinny attack, their little drill thing, and we'll get into their attacks in a moment. And I thought, oh, great. This is going to be like the Watcher Knights in Hollow Knight, and I can't actually physically damage them when they are spinning. And thankfully, that is not the case at all. Now, I'm not entirely sure what I would have done outside of that. I guess I was thinking I could only hit them when they were just kind of floating around or something. But thankfully, I said, you know what? I've got to at least try because they're doing a lot of spinning and not a lot of much else. And I tried, and yay, we can hurt them. So that's great. They have two attacks. They have their drill and they have their spit. Their drill is them spinning a lot and boring into the ground, the ceiling, the sides of the arena, and then bursting out of the ground, the ceiling, or the sides of the arena, and shooting across the whole arena or from top to bottom. They will cover the full breadth of the arena with this attack. And what's great, and by great I mean kind of confusing and tricky, is that they could bore into the ground, but then they will shoot out of the side. It does not translate. So if they bore into the ceiling, it does not mean they're going to shoot out of the ceiling or even out of the ground. They can just go in wherever and then come out wherever. It's fun. And sometimes it seems like the attack tracks us. Like when they start the boring part of it, the drilling part of it, not the bursting, shooting across thing. Sometimes though. So I don't know if that was just random chance and it just seemed to look like it. I'll figure that out in the boss discussion. The spit attack is when one of the Great Conch Flies will spit a conch shell at us. And it's like we can find on those smaller enemies out in the Blasted Sands, and the conch shell will just hit hard surfaces at a 45-degree angle and bounce off of it. And I can't tell if they break after they hit us or just stop. I couldn't tell if it was a time limit or if it was a certain amount of bounces and the conch shell would break. But either way, it bounces around quite a bit, and it's a very difficult attack for me to dodge. Even to this day, I'm still getting hit by those damn conch shells whenever I'm engaging the small conch shell shooting bug things. Even the little ones, they'll still get me, and they are a very frustrating enemy. I do not like them. The conch flies themselves, the Great Conch Flies, they will do 2 masks of damage. The little drill thingy that they shoot out only does 1, thankfully. And then what's a really interesting note about this particular fight is that we only need to defeat one of the conch flies. And I'm totally sure that that second conch fly will never show up again and will never, ever, ever, ever. Oh, we're going to totally see them later. But more on that later. So with my first win against the Great Conch Flies, I used the Sting Shard tool because, of course, I love that tool. It's like what Hornet Sentinel was doing in Hollow Knight. Hooray, we're doing that now. And actually, the tacks. The Sting Shards I knew were going to work. I knew they were going to be effective because of just the way the Conch Flies are moving through the arena. And I knew that they were just going to passively hit them. Just the way it would go. But the tacks worked out too. And that was just a bit of this is the tool I have on hand. Let's see if it does anything, because they do bore into the ground. Like, that was my original thought. Was like, they bore into the ground, they'll shoot out of the ground. You know, they're going to hit the tacks when they do that. But they also hit the tacks when they cross the arena at ground level. So the tacks were very useful in this fight, way more than I thought. So that was just really cool. Even though I got through this fight in 2 attempts, it still ended up being a lot to keep track of. Like, trying to keep track of the spit, trying to keep track of where either of those conch flies were going to be coming out of, the wall, ceiling, floor, whatever, while sometimes having to dodge that drill spit, conch drill thing, all at the same time. It still ended up being a lot. Just a lot to keep track of at all times across the whole arena. So yeah, don't take me getting through this in 2 attempts as like, oh man, this boss should be easy. No, this boss is not. This fight is still a lot. But back to the first win and how this went. In addition to using the sting shards and the tacks as my tools and just being super useful in this fight, I would jump over the lower lateral drill attacks, maybe get an attack in retaliation. I absolutely loved it when a great conch fly would drill into the ground, because that gave me plenty of time to get some hits in or heal if I needed. I found healing to be possible after dodging a drill. I do believe it's possible to heal after dodging like the initial bounce of the spit shot, but again, no geometry for me, please. I was a calculus guy, so please, no more geometry. I was just not confident, so I didn't try it. I again was using the Beast Crest. I like the Beast Crest. It's just a fun crest. I did get to learn that we can use our Silk skill, the Cross Stitch, against the drill attack, because I wasn't quite sure if it could stop a 2 mask damage attack. And it does, and I felt like an absolute badass when I did it, and I thought that, move looked super cool. And so I guess I would say it's a fairly useful Silk skill to keep on hand for this fight if you want. I think it is probably actually a very useful skill, because it can just completely mitigate the drill from the Great Conch Fly. And yeah, that was how I got my first win against the Great Conch Flies. Thank you so much for joining me today, noobs. Please let me know in the comments below what you think about the Great Conch Flies and their fight, and how you approached it. I am the Perpetual Noob, and I will see you all next time.